In Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories, Palestinians are essentially being governed by a form of apartheid. These expulsions would violate Israel's obligations under international law. Life in Gaza is hard even when they are not being bombed. Destroying a civilian residence sure seems like a war crime. You should probably never meme a war crime. Committing a fucking war crime. Multiple children have been killed this week. 8 in a single strike just yesterday. The only scenario in which the answer to is killing children wrong gets tricky is if you're a time traveller in 1890s Austria trying to explain why you just killed the Hitler family's bouncing new baby boy. The US government has implicitly co-signed on the brutally hard line Israel's been taking, and the US is heavily implicated here. Not just by serving as Israel's diplomatic shield at the UN, but by constantly refusing to criticize the indefensible. Israel has a right to defend itself is just something all presidents end up saying out loud at some point in office for decades. The backbone of America's policy in the Middle East has been that America is an unwavering friend to Israel, which is a great thing to try and be, but at the end of the day, I would hope that a real friend would tell me when I'm being an Look, if you believe Israel's actions are warranted and proportionate this week, you're welcome to try and make that argument. But we have got to start having this conversation honestly. Falling back on convenient sanitized terms like real estate disputes and airstrikes on militants feels a little disingenuous. Sanitized terms like evictions or property disputes rankle those who live there. The use of the phrase tit-for-tat war in a conflict where you just pointed out one side has suffered over 10 times the casualties. Something which speaks to both the severe power imbalance at play here and how that often gets obscured by how we choose to talk about it. Israeli civilians were killed this week, which is terrible. But the point is, this isn't tit for tat. There is a massive imbalance when it comes to the two sides' weaponry and capabilities. While most of the rockets aimed toward Israeli citizens this week were intercepted, Israel's airstrikes were not. They hit their targets. The fact is, the citizens of Gaza don't have an Iron Dome to protect them the way that the citizens of Israel do. It's one of the many ways they're at a significant disadvantage. Both sides are firing rockets, but one side has one of the most advanced militaries in the world. Both sides are suffering heartbreaking casualties, but one side is suffering them exponentially. One side is suffering much more.